Hey everyone, welcome back to the Poor Investor. Today I want to go over some update on this whole crypto task force meeting. Don't be deceived by all of this. This is just a sit down. It doesn't mean anything. It hasn't even happened yet. But right now, I just want to show you guys what this is, what it relates to, and what possibly it means for CNI. All right. So let's dive a little deeper. I saw this on Reddit. It was actually 20 hours ago, so I saw it early this morning. Crypto Task Force meeting with Chia Network. All right. So they're gonna be sitting down, and there was a few comments here. I read through them, and they were like, "Oh, it's exciting! It's exciting! Look at the price! Look at the price of what Chia is today." So I went ahead and looked at the price. Oh, lo and behold, it was up, right? Uh, Chia XCH. Let me just see that really quick. Let me just throw that over. It did go up, right? Of course, right now it's $16.39, guys. Why? Why? What's going on that we have to be all over this? So let's analyze this. Let's analyze this a little more in detail. So there's going to be 6 points, 6 topics that they're going to focus on, right? Education on the Permuto. Is that how you say that? Permuto Capital Trust product. That's that whole. I believe that's the whole Microsoft thing that they're trying to, salami attack, earn a couple pennies for every trade or whatever they sell. I'm not going to get into the details of that. I didn't. I don't. I just don't see it happening. Review of Chia Network's S-1 process and learnings. Decentralized is key. Pathway to registration for other projects. All right. Pathway to remediation for projects that violate security laws. Q&A and follow-up. All right. So on and so forth. Right. So I read through this 9 pages of nonsense, to be really, uh, putting it lightly. I feel that it is nonsense, to be honest. And of course, here it mentions we would propose to meet our founder and CTO Bram Cohen, our president and CEO Gene Hoffman, and Trent, which is the Permuto. I think that's how you say it, Permuto Capital, whatever. If I have a hard time saying the name, it's probably ain't gonna go, it ain't gonna fly. But anyway, all right. So I took all of this, right, because I this is all mumble jumble to me, right? There's so much fluff in this that I threw it into my Chat GPT, and this is what I got. So let's analyze this a little bit more. All right. So let's analyze this a little bit more. Hold on one second. Let me just close up some of my previous discussions with ChatGPT. So I said, what is the purpose of this? And I pasted the actual PDF, right? The same one that we just saw. And the document is detailing the meeting between the SEC Crypto Task Force. Now, I don't know who those individuals are, and network representation on February 25th. Actually, no, that was yesterday. Sorry, it did happen already. So that's my apologies. What was the outcome of it? I have no idea. So anyway, key discussion points: education, explaining new financial product and their regulatory implications, uh, Chia's network S1 filing, review Chia's experience with SEC regulation. All right, so it goes through the details of that, right? So it explained it to me, what's going on, why they're doing this, and the purpose. At the end of the day, is this meeting. All right, let me just increase the size on this, right? The meeting was to educate the SEC on blockchain innovation, with advocating for a clearer, fairer regulatory framework for crypto companies like Chia. They particularly want equal treatment for all blockchain-based financial product. And my injection there would be: is Chia honestly thinking that they're looking out for other blockchains? I mean, as much as they talk shit about it on X and all the other platforms that they're on, they're constantly bagging and degrading other projects, and not associating themselves with it, obviously. But at the same time, they want to advocate for a voice in crypto, as far as blockchain. Okay, I mean that's, I guess everyone has their own way of brown nosing things, right? And consideration for decentralized when defining securities, which is interesting, right? Because I find that decentralized isn't a word Chia should be using to describe their crypto or their blockchain. All right, and I'll explain why in a little bit. And it says, would you like me to break down any specific part of this discussion? I was like, sure. Is it a kiss ass or a brown nose attempt by Chia? And of course, why it's not just brown nosing. All right. Now, I'm going to go through this in finer details here because I want you to absorb all this. All right. Because there's a reason why anyone will want to sit down and try to explain anything to the SEC is because they want it to be in their favor, obviously. Right. Can't fault them for that. Everyone wants to make a quick buck. And Chia is no different from any other organization. All right. The meeting appears to be more of a strategic lobbying effort rather than an outright brown nosing or kissing ass. Chia Network is clearly trying to shape regulatory discussion in a way that benefits both itself and the broader blockchain industry. I fail to see that. If you're going to use a blockchain, right? If Chia is sitting there like, oh, you should use us, but if you don't use us, you could use someone else. What benefit does that bring them? Absolutely nothing. I honestly don't think like if I had a car wash, you had a car wash, and I say, oh, you could go to that guy. Like I'll lose out on your business. What's the point of me being around then, right? So I don't see this as I see it more as a strategic, oh, I could regulate some of this. I have a voice in all this, so whatever I say goes. And that's how I see it, okay? Regulatory advocacy, they're making detailed argument about why decentralization matters and why crypto assets deserve a different regulatory framework to some extent, right? I don't, it really depends on what it is and how it's operated. Defensive posturing. Chia is distancing itself from past bad actors in crypto, emphasizing that they never dumped on retail or engaged in speculative. I have to laugh at that one because this dumped on retail portion, that's a little debatable depending on who you ask. Technical merit, they are pushing for engagement with real blockchain experts rather than just industry founders. Okay, proactive compliance. Chia is one of the few crypto companies voluntarily filing an S1 registration instead of fighting the SEC, which signals an attempt to work with the system. Of course, I mean, uh, brown. That's how brown nosing works, right? That's how kiss assing works, right? They file this S1 doesn't mean they've gotten anywhere. They've been doing this for the last 3-4 years. So exactly where does it stand? Okay, where it might be brown nose move, right? Over flattery of the SEC processes. They are framing the SEC's role as necessary, even suggesting ways to improve securities regulations rather than arguing against them outright. I don't ever see them really arguing about it, saying the SEC is wrong. They're more like, hey, yeah, the SEC says this, so we're trying to be in compliance with them because we want something from them. We want them to approve us for, whatever it is that we're trying to do. Right. So obviously that's a point of where it might be brown nosing. Emphasizing their compliance, they repeatedly stress that they are following the rules, which has always been stated in Discord. We're following the rules. We're following the rule. We're following this. We're following that. We're playing by the rules, right? So that was always a given. That was always being said. No one can deny that. No one can ever say anyone from CNI has ever disagreed, or at least I have not seen anyone from CNI disagreeing or saying that, oh, the SEC is wrong. They shouldn't be doing it this way or that way. All right. Offering experts to the SEC. This could be a way of gaining insider influence. Oh, look at that. Insider influence and steer the SEC's stance on crypto, meaning in favor of this crypto called Chia or XCH, right? So final take, it's not a faux on brown nosing, but rather a well calculated engagement to influence the SEC's decision making in a way that benefits Chia. They want to be seen as a good guy of crypto. All right, however you want to see that. Again, that's debatable. Nudging regulations in their favor. It's more strategic lobbying. That's, to me, if you put all these words together, strategic, nudging, and influencing, in my point of view, and it doesn't work for every circumstance, but in my point of view, it's that it's brown nosing, right? The kissing ass, right? So let's go about this way. What about all the pre-farm that has sold so far? All right, so where does that lead us, right? And interestingly enough, ChatGPT has actual knowledge of grabbing this information as quickly as possible and feeding it to me in a matter of seconds. All I asked was, what about all the preform Chia has sold so far, right? So historically avoided full Chia Network has historically avoided full transparency about the amount of preform XCH they've sold, but we do have clues from past disclosures on chain activity. Now, guys, comment below. Is that true or not? Do you believe what's the statement here being said by ChatGPT? Has it been full transparency? Has it really been? Because one thing was, I remember and I recall saying, and this is not something I'm making up in my mind, is that oh, we're just loaning the XCH, and then eventually it went from loaning, we're never selling, to we're selling, or we sold some of the pre-farm already to keep the lights on. Okay, all right, that's fine. So let's keep on going. What we know about the 21 million XCH. The pre-farm was meant to funding operations, development, and eventually redistribution via a strategic reserve. Bram Cohen and Gene Hoffman have admitted selling portions in various interviews and social media posts. They confirmed selling some pre-farm XCH to fund operations. SEC filing implications, their S1 filing process suggests they want to go public, and that usually requires financial transparency about asset sales. If they're sold large amount, the SEC will see it. Of course, that's pretty public information at this point. I don't know what portion of it was loaned, supposedly, versus what was sold into the market. Chia's liquidity event passed on Chia chain activity. Market moves suggest that the pre-farm distribution have entered the open market, likely to cover expenses. Of course it is. Of course it is. Do not forget that Chia at one point also laid off 20 plus employees. They overhired. They had a seed funding of millions and millions of dollars prior to selling XCH. What they did with it prior, I have no idea. What they claim that they did all this marketing, I have yet to ever seen any kind of marketing that was ever done. Maybe it wasn't geared towards us. Maybe it wasn't in the general public. Maybe it wasn't on Times Square's billboard, but it was definitely supposedly geared towards the recycle dry initiative, or the carbon market, or all those whatever projects that Chia was supposedly involved in. So maybe that's where all that money went. Maybe it was just bad marketing. Okay. So what the SEC might ask about this meeting: has Chia been selling XH while positioning itself as compliant? Ooh, that's a tough one. If they sold significant pre-farm coins while lobbying the SEC for favorable rules, it would raise red flags. Now that's interesting. They sold some, not some. Let me take that back. They sold a lot of pre-farm, and yet they want to go to the SEC and claim like they're the godly or godlike of all crypto, the good guys of crypto, of blockchain. Again, very debatable. Have they been transparent about the XCH sale? If they downplay the amount sold by the blockchain, tells a different story. The SEC will see it as a misleading investor. Okay. Are they trying to preempt SEC scrutiny? It looks like it. Chia is presenting itself as a responsible, pro-regulation blockchain company, possibly to avoid getting targeted like the other crypto projects. If they can convince the SEC that their pre-farm sales were reasonable and justified, they might dodge potential regulatory headaches. Would you like me to investigate any other recent on-chain reports of Chia pre-farm movement? And I said simply, yes. Tell me more. All right. So it tells me there's 21 million XCH. As of May 2024, approximately 450,000 XCH has been transferred to the market maker, comprising both loans and sales. How do you differentiate that? Now, I don't know. You could probably check the wallet and you see 450,000 XCH going out and about, right? How many were sold? How many were considered loans? Why would anyone consider it a loan? Have no clue whatsoever. Anyone who sold during all this time is probably the smarter ones. In September 2024, Chia announced a rebalancing of the pre-farm wallet to enhance flexibility and reduce costs associated with converting XCH to fiat. Rebalancing of the pre-farm wallet. Now, I don't know what that even means, but Honestly, I didn't even dig any deeper because the source of that conversation came from Chia.net. So anything coming from the direct mouth of the horse, I'd rather not believe it, right? There's a high suspicion there. Let's keep on going. Community discussions suggest that Chia Network has been selling around 50,000 XCH per month to cover salaries, operational expenses. This rate implies a runway of approximately 7 years at the current level. So they can last another 7 years if they keep it at this potential, selling off each month. So very, very, it seems like what is it that they've been doing for the last 4 going on 5 years if they're still not generating any income, but yet they're building out all these projects, investing and throwing money around like they're multimillionaires, which they are because they have all the XCH to sell. But beyond that, what's generating the revenue to keep XCH alive? Are you just relying on a 21 million pre-farm that you made out of thin air and just constantly selling it just to keep the lights on? Who knows? For real tracking, you can go to XCH Ninja. That's fine. I've done that before, and someone introduced that to me. So, in summary, Chia Network has been systematically utilizing its pre-farm reserve to support its growth and operational needs. Where's the growth? I don't know. If anything, they've downsized to half of what they were 2 years ago. So, you have to uh, think about it in that perspective. If you're growing, you're selling pre-farms to grow, but in reality, you started cutting more people. That's a kind of like conflict. There's a conflict. Where does it start and where does it end? All right. So I asked ChatGPT another question: is Chia centralized? And interesting, this is a good response from ChatGPT. Is Chia Network centralized? Chia Network claims to be decentralized blockchain, but there are strong arguments that it remains highly centralized in practice. Let's break it down. The pre-farm, 21 million XCH, huge centralization concern. Huge, and it is huge. They should have put all those letters in capitals. Chia Network pre-farm, 21 million XCH before launching the network. Unlike Bitcoin, where miners earn every coin, Chia pre-minted a massive stash that gives them major influence over the ecosystem. The Chia still controls a large portion of this reserve, has been selling it to fund operations. Why it's centralized? A single entity, Chia Network, controls a massive portion of the XCH supply, meaning they have huge power over the market. Guys, it's centralized. All right? Short and simple. Development and governance, corporate control. Chia Network, CNI, a for-profit company, leads all developments and governance decisions. So we heard in my past video from Luna about Evergreen, if you do something, you build a project, you got to follow their rules. That's not decentralized. That's pretty centralized in my opinion. Unlike Bitcoin, where developers work in an open source, decentralized manner, Chia's updates and roadmaps are decided by the company. Case in point proven. Case in point proven that they have to make sure they evaluate before you release anything. Their S1 filing with the SEC suggests that they want to go public, but would make the blockchain even more corporate controlled. How are you going to tell me that it's decentralized, but you're centralized? Like, okay, that's a little confusing, but why is centralized? A single company decides the future of the network and the community governance is limited. Have something bad to say about Chia? Don't ever go to the Discord because you'll get banned or kicked right out. All right. Farming, mining, not fully decentralized. Oh, this is an interesting one. So farmers like you and I are not fully decentralized. Chia uses proof of space and time instead of proof of work, Bitcoin, or proof of stake, Ethereum. Examples. While Post reduces energy use, a small number of large farmers dominate the network. A small number of large farmers. Now, we're talking about small numbers of large whales. So if they shut down, it ain't that decentralized anymore, is it? Right? HPOO and other large pools control a significant percentage of Chia's net space, making it semi-centralized in terms of blockchain production. Why it's centralized? Farming is still controlled by a few large players rather than being widely distributed. Guys, I just wanted to share that with you. Obviously, there's a whole bunch more that we can go further into, but I'm going to leave it off as here because don't take this PDF as the sit down, as anything prosperous for Chia. It's just, I think they got their foot in the door. And again, just like how the Chia plot said it, just because they have the ball doesn't mean that they're going to run a touchdown. Just putting it out there. Hopefully you enjoy this, and if you have anything to say, please comment below, and we could definitely make a huge or bigger discussion about it in a future video. And I'll take your comment, and if you have any interest, I'll get you on board and we can have a full-blown discussion about it. All right, talk to you guys soon. Take care.